Alright, so new solo base design. I just modified some things, tried some things out in my new single player, and what I have done this time is I've basically gotten rid of all the zombie cheating techniques. So I'm not using wedge tips anywhere, as I'm not using any of the zombie force fields, i.e. the arrow slits upside down. Everything, as you can see here, is just your standard build. So what I am using to make this design work is simply just the pathing technique, which I've been using for a couple bases now. So the exterior is all part of the ground, and therefore the zombie pathing should not see this as a viable way to dig through, because they see this path right here that goes to the interior of the structure and then replicated over here, same thing. And then the back side of the structure is just completely blade traps. This is all just solid dirt and concrete. The exterior structure is just again flagstone. It's not upgraded to cobblestone. You've got wood on top, as you can see there. And if we just kind of clip through, as you can see, nothing big or nasty outside. And then the interior is all reinforced concrete again, just because the way I play. So this time what I've done is, once you come into the interior here, I have modified the pyramid just a bit. I've elongated it, and I've put a hatch back here at the bottom, or at the back I should say, and then I've just ramped up the ground to come in. I haven't upgraded the pyramid to reinforced concrete yet. I was just finished building the structure. But what I've decided to do this time is I've actually started using the electric fence posts to kind of slow these zombies down. And then I've got dart traps here, which will fire down the line, and then these darts here will fire against anything beating on the door. And then just my standard 4-light setup, bulletproof glass. So this structure right here is not part of the exterior structure like all my previous builds. So they should not see any of this as a pathing technique to dig through or beat on. They will unintentionally swing on it as they're running past, or if they get caught up, they'll try to swing on it. But they will not see this as a valid structure option unless I jump up here and come up here to the roof. So in this design I have 6 switches. So I have 6 different circuits that are tied up here. So I have different circuits for the blade traps, the shotgun turrets, the motion sensor traps out here, the exterior blade traps there. And then if you go down here, so this is just dug out. They should not see this as a viable path, because all this is just area beneath the pyramid, and I won't be standing on this area, so they shouldn't bother with this at all. And this is all just tied in, and what I've done with the traps is I've actually crossed them into an X pattern. So instead of going directly up and down, they now rotate over multiple blocks. That should catch them a bit more often. And if I understand the blade traps correctly, when they wear out, it's the end of the chain that stops working, which would be these ones right here. So if I wanted to keep electrical parts on me during the night, I could actually repair these, because they are within range right here, and so are those shotgun turrets, so I could reload those. Now these shotgun turrets I debated using, and I just decided to go with them, because what they do is they fire onto this area right here, which is the most exposed part. So if the horde spawns on any of the east-west coordinates, they will pop down here, run along these blade defenses, but anything that spawns right here will skip all that and just come straight through. So that was just kind of extra added support. So up top again, it's just all wood. The support structure is the metal I-beams. And yeah, so there you go. So I'm gonna get myself out of God mode here. Oops. Helps if you do it right. Alright. Now let's tug D mode off. Okay. So as you can see here, just motion sensors tied into everything. Alright, let's go ahead and get this up. So as you can see, I can reach everything in here. and everything is good. And again, they can't jump through here because of the bulletproof glass from the upper structure. And then the reason I went with the vault hatch here at the back is what I'm trying to do is abuse their pathing technique in the AI. So the AI will always target a door instead of trying to beat through wall structure or jumping up through this. So if I did this correctly, what they should do is they should spawn in, come through here, and then anything that makes it this far, instead of trying to jump up here and get at me, will actually try to run down here and then come up to the door and start beating on the door to get to me. That is what I believe will happen. We'll find out. So this structure was designed with the upgrade path. So what you could do is you could build this inner structure here and just dig out the exterior maze. And you could leave that blank until you get far enough along that you need it. So this entire structure is designed on the entire premise that you could start with this as your first base and then grow it as the Horde Nights go. So I actually turned the game stage back to day 63. I've gotten a couple levels since the last video, but that's not a big deal. So game day 178, we know Demolishers will spawn during this, so we should be good to go. Now if we go up here, and one thing I also want to point out is you noticed very few of the wires actually come through my visual path. So what I've done is I've wired up relays on the outsides of the building, and then I buried them behind the visual range of cops or demolishers or anyone. So they should never attack them, they should never spit at them. So everything should be good up here. I'm not going to go with the standard turret up here for bird defense tonight. I'm just going to leave it be. Alright, so let's go ahead and... Oops. I was doing some testing, I forgot to turn the switches off. Alright. So let's make sure all of our battery banks are turned on. So these battery banks draw anywhere from about 130 watts to 270 watts, depending on how the circuit is wired up. I didn't want to exceed 270 because 300 is max with all 6 level 6 batteries. But some of the circuits are tied to motion sensors, so some of the current draw only comes in when it's going on. So I always wanted to make sure I didn't exceed 270, and that's just a general rule of thumb. So that way it gives you some play. So if you screw up and you actually add something to the circuit that you forgot about, that during the Horde Night you are not screwed because you'd lose, the circuit. So I thought I could reach those from here. Oh, that sucks. Alright. So the blade traps, as you can see, they're just maxed out with 1500 darts. And I did the same out on all of these. They're all just set up. So we've got motion sensors tied to this hallway here, and then a motion sensor there tied to this hallway here. This motion sensor is tied into this trap and this one, so this blade trap only turns on when they see a zombie right here. And then the same thing with this one, it only turns on the blade trap and the dart trap when it sees somebody directly right here. And then again the same on the other side, it's just a mirror. Now the one thing you may have noticed already is the support columns are not actually mirrored. So when I was digging out this complex, I built this side first and then I turned around to build this side, but as you can see, I screwed it up. I was off by 1 block, and I didn't notice it until after I had the reinforced concrete pillars already drying, so I just went with it. When I build this in a single player, in a live game, I would, fix that because I wouldn't have gotten that far. All this is just bulletproof glass. That's just so I can see in and out. It shouldn't affect them attacking the structure because they shouldn't still be able to see me. But if they can or they do, then I can just wall that up and it's not a big deal. Alright, let's get all the defenses turned back on. Alright, turn off my headlight. So as you can see, the lighting in here is not bad. Now if we switch to my flame bat, everything looks good. We'll just go ahead and turn the headlight on. So this could actually done without a headlamp if you really wanted to. I just don't see the point. So for the testing of this, I'm just going to stand back here towards the door and we're just going to see what happens. Alright, so that's a good sign. I'm not hearing them beating on anything. I just hear them running through the traps. The shotgun turrets are going off because you can see them right there coming through. Now I am concerned a little bit about those animations right there. I'm not sure if that is them doing anything or if them just getting... Okay, good. That's just them getting hit. And as you can see there, we've got radiated already. It is interesting they're getting caught on fire so far out, up on the top. That doesn't make any sense unless... I'm not really sure how or why that's happening. That is interesting though. So the reason I came up with this design in my current single player, I modified the design a bit and just went with a two-way entry, and then I used the zombie force field trick to go along the sides just to make the base a bit faster and easier to produce. And while that does work quite well, it does abuse the pathing AI technique, and that will more than likely be going away in Alpha 19. So I decided to come up with a base that should not have to worry about that. Now if you see there, the reinforced concrete has actually taken some damage. I'm not entirely sure. It might be because of the auto turret. It's trying to swivel and shoot through. I haven't seen that over on this one yet. So that'll be interesting, something to keep an eye on. It might have been them firing or spitting, but I don't think so. Alright, so let's go back. So nothing's made it to the interior structure yet, which is a good sign. Now, I don't remember if the horde was set to 16 or 8 spawn. I want to say it was set to 16, but I've been changing some parameters here and there, so I'm not sure if it got set back to 8 yet or not. Oop, we got a white who made it to the interior. At least to the front door anyways. So it'll be interesting to see. Alright, this guy's been firing quite a bit. How about this guy? He's still good. So they've been firing about the same. Another radiated. Oh. They seem to be making it to just about there, and then that's where they end up dying. Alright, so it sounds like they're still coming from this side. I haven't heard any military zombies or cops or demolishers yet. They do make a bit different sound. Ooh, we got a few loot bags out there already. construction zombies again. Alright, so it does sound like, yep, there's a radiated. Ooh, Skaterpunk made it all the way through. There's a white. So, I'm not really sure how or why they're getting caught on fire so far out. The only thing I can think of is all the turrets, all the trap defenses are actually getting the fire mod. Even the shotgun turrets are doing it, which is interesting. So if you can see, there's quite a bit of damage to the wood right there, and I think that's from the turrets. Now, when I put up that wood block right there, I was pretty certain this was going to happen. I just wanted to test it out to see exactly where the damage was coming from and how. So it looks like I'm going to have to modify this design a little bit. I was considering moving the turrets up one more block. I don't know if they would be within range though, so that's one thing I'll have to test here. Alright, we got some who actually made it in, but they all died right there. Alright. Now, generally, I'm not a big fan of the turrets, especially the shotgun turrets. While they are quite effective, just the gathering and making of the shotgun shells themselves, because it requires paper, I'm not a big fan of that. I would much rather rely on just, one or two resources, which is why I try to stick with dart traps and the blade traps, because that's just iron. So that's just clay and iron. It's not a big deal. Alright. So I don't know if you noticed before, but there was some spitting because they can't see me. So it looks like we are going to have to wall up those spots. Alright. So I think I'm going to have to move the shotgun turrets up one block. I'm going to fill all this in with concrete. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to have to do. Because even if I duck, as you can see, they can still see me quite well. Alright. Oh, I just heard some wood break. Yeah, right there. So now I don't know if that is the turret that took that out, or if it was the zombies that took that out. There's quite a bit of damage here, so it looks like there's quite a bit of spitting going on. So I'm guessing we had some cops, and while I was standing up there, they were spitting because they could see me through the turret. Yeah. Yep. Alright. Take those up really quick. I don't have any concrete on me for that, but that's fine. Alright. So it looks like for the time being, for the rest of the night, we're just going to have to sit down right here. Now the nice thing about this design is if you wanted to, you could come down here and you could fire down the hallway and just have some fun with them. But the problem with doing that is then this structure now turns into a legal target. here. I'm kind of surprised I haven't heard any demolishers. 'Cause we did have it last time. Alright, I hear a cop. Nope, that was a tourist. Sorry. Well, it looks like I placed a wood block down by accident and didn't clear it out. I'll have to fix that. Still more radiated. Kinda hoping we get some demolishers. Radiated. Oh, radiated white. He actually made it into the electric fence. Alright, sounds like those exterior dart traps are out of ammo. And probably one or two of the blade traps are down. Alright, let's take a look here. So he's taking some damage. Another radiated white. No damage being done out here. Oh, demo. Alright, here's the test. Alright, he's inside the structure now. And get hit by the fence. And taken down by the first electric fence. Alright. So I'd be interested to see this as a multiplayer-based defense with the upgrades to it. I imagine this base design would hold out against, even like up to a 4 or 5 player multiplayer base in its current configuration. Well, once I make the upgrades and fix those turrets and the holes right there, but yeah, it'd be really interesting to see how this holds up. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could go out and, fire down here and if they started making it through. And, you could just stand up here on the pyramid and shoot down if you really wanted to. And they should path all the way to that door regardless of where you're standing up here. Now, the reason I'm not trying that right now is because we've discovered that they can see me and they will spit. So I just want to negate as much damage to the structure as possible. Now, the nice thing about this is the fence posts are on the block below the visible area, so even the spit as it comes up at an angle, because it can't go straight across, these blocks should be entirely safe from the spit. Now, I guess I will say the one caveat to the no wedge tips is just this inner defense wall. That was just done just 'cause. There's no reason not to just put up regular walls. You could, I imagine, and everything would still be fine. They would just come down here and go for it. So I think what I'll do is, when I make the upgrades, I will knock out these wedge tips here and try it with just standard concrete and see how it goes. Alright, let's take a quick pop out top and see if we got any vultures to deal with. And doesn't look like. Alright, let's get all the defenses shut off. Alright, let's go take a look, see what they did. Alright, so that's not bad. Barely any ammo there. That's kind of what I expected. They dug through. So that was why I did this right here. I did reinforced concrete all the way through, as I figured they might try to do that. Alright. Yeah, and they tried to do it over here. Alright, but the rest of this all looks good. Now the damage here should have been from the auto turrets. Alright, so all these traps are looking good. They never even bothered with this back area, so that's good. That's what I was hoping for. Alright, let's take a look here. Barely used any. No damage. Little damage. Barely used any. Alright, so that one's fairly damaged. Alright, that one's toast. That one's toast. So it does look like a majority of them just tried to path right through here. Alright, let's go take a look at the other side really quick. Yeah, no. I bet you that motion sensor's out. So yeah, I bet you it was the turret was sitting there firing on this. Alright, we might have to reposition that. Alright. So that looks good. Alright, so it looks like to prevent the tunneling, we're going to have to do reinforced concrete all along this wall here. They did a fair bit of damage there. But I'm guessing that's that white that came up and sat there. Or those couple whites, I should say. Alright, so it looks like we learned a few things from this. All in all, I'd say though, base held up quite well. And as you can see, there's my old base right over there. So yeah, I'm pretty sure once I get rid of the visible area right there into the side so they can't see me anymore, all this damage should stop. Now I am debating on moving the turrets completely out here, so not even having, so I don't have to worry about reloading them during the fight. And I think that's probably my best bet, is just to get them out here and away from the damage of the structure. And that'll help prevent all this extra damage out here. Alright, looks like I'm going to go ahead and log it here, and we'll see you guys later.